It's kind of wild to think about, but most of us spend something like 90% of our lives indoors, right? We're just soaked in artificial light all day. And we've made that light super bright, super energy efficient, but what if we miss something? What if, in our race for efficiency, we accidentally stripped out a crucial nutrient, a nutrient our bodies have been using for, well, billions of years? So today, we're going to dig into this really fascinating and maybe a little unsettling idea. Are we accidentally starving ourselves of the light we need to actually be healthy?
And that brings us right to this powerful quote from Professor Glen Jeffery. He calls it light malnutrition. I mean, just let that sink in. Malnutrition. It's such a provocative idea, right? It suggests that just like with the food we eat, it's not just about getting enough light, but about getting the right kind of light, the quality, the spectrum. It all has these huge consequences for our health.
All right, so let's get into it. What does this light malnutrition actually look like in the real world? Well, to really get it, you've got to see the difference between the light we evolved with and the light we're all living under right now.
And wow, this visual just says it all, doesn't it? Take a look. On the left, that's sunlight. See that beautiful, smooth, rolling hill? It's a full, broad spectrum. It's got all the colors, and importantly, a ton of red and that invisible near-infrared light. Now, look to the right. That's a typical LED. It's not a rolling hill. It's a massive, sharp spike of blue light, and then it just falls off a cliff. There's basically nothing in those critical red and infrared ranges. We have literally engineered out a huge chunk of the light that nature provides.
And what's crazy is how fast this all happened. I mean, for billions of years, life on this planet evolved under the sun's full spectrum. Even when we invented our own light, fire, those old-school incandescent bulbs that got super hot, they basically mimicked the sun. They were rich in red and infrared light. But then, the 90s hit. The LED revolution took off. And in our amazing quest to be more efficient, we got rid of those hot infrared wavelengths. We completely changed our light environment in like less than a single generation. It's a massive, sudden shift.
Okay, so we're missing a huge chunk of the light spectrum. Big deal, right? Why does it even matter? Well, to answer that, we have to go microscopic. We need to look at the tiny little engines inside our cells that power, well, everything. Let's talk about your body's power grid.
So, let me introduce you to your mitochondria. The absolute best way to think about these things is as trillions, and I mean trillions, of tiny biological batteries. They're packed inside almost every cell in your body. Their job is to create this molecule called ATP. That's the energy currency for life. It's what lets you move, think, breathe, everything. But, and this is a big but, just like the battery in your phone, they run down over time. And that decline is directly linked to aging and a whole host of diseases.
And the amount of work they do, it's just mind-boggling. Get this, every single day, the mitochondria in your body produce your entire body weight in this energy molecule, ATP. So for an average person, that's about 80 kilograms of pure energy every single day. This isn't some background process. This is the absolute bedrock of your health and your life.
Okay, so here's where it all comes together. These tiny cellular batteries we've been talking about, they are directly affected by light. But, and this is the key, different kinds of light have completely opposite effects on them. It's really a tale of two lights. This chart just lays it out so perfectly. On one side, you have the short wavelengths. Think of that spiky blue light from our LEDs. That light actually discharges your cellular batteries. It slows down energy production and can even stir up inflammation. But then you have the other side, the long wavelengths, the red and near-infrared light that we're missing. That light does the exact opposite. It literally recharges the batteries, cranking up energy production and helping your cells stay healthy. And just so we're clear, this isn't some weird, quirky thing that only happens in humans. Nope. This fundamental mechanism, this push and pull of blue light draining the battery and red light charging it up, it's ancient. It's been shown to work the same way in everything from fruit flies to mice to, yes, us. And that's huge, because it means the science we're about to look at is incredibly important.
So, if our modern world is starving us of this recharging red light, what happens if we start adding it back in on purpose? Let's get into the science of the recharge.
Okay, first thing you need to know, timing is absolutely everything. It turns out our mitochondria have their own daily clock, their own circadian rhythm. They're working their hardest, cranking out the most energy in the morning. So if you expose them to red light then, it's like hitting a turbo boost. You supercharge their performance. But try that same thing in the afternoon, they've already shifted gears for the day, and studies show the red light has basically no effect. So, bottom line, if you're going to do this, do it in the morning.
Now let's look at the results in people. And this is a powerful one. We're talking about critically ill patients in an ICU.
These are people whose bodies are under an incredible amount of stress. When they were treated with this red and near-infrared light, they saw a 34% jump in grip strength, which is a great way to measure how well their mitochondria are working. And get this, a 30% shorter stay in the ICU. That's not just a number on a page, that's a massive, real-world improvement.
And this isn't just some fluke one-off study. Here's another one, this time with hospitalized COVID-19 patients. After getting this light therapy, their average hospital stay dropped from 12 days all the way down to 8. Not only that, but their lung function improved and key markers for inflammation went way down.
But this next one, this one is probably the most mind-bending finding of them all. It seems like our mitochondria talk to each other all across the body. In one study, researchers shined this special light on people's backs, okay? Just their backs, nowhere near their eyes. And the result? A 7.5% improvement in their vision. How wild is that? It really suggests our mitochondria are this single connected network. You can treat one part of the body and the benefits can pop up somewhere completely different.
So, the science here is pretty compelling, right? What does this all mean for us, for how we live our day-to-day lives and how we design our buildings and cities? Let's zoom out and take a look at the big picture.
The thing is, our modern world has basically created a perfect storm against our biology. Problem one, we already know this. Our indoor spaces are flooded with LED light that's heavy on the blue and missing the red. Problem two, and this is a sneaky one, a lot of our modern windows have special coatings to block infrared light and save energy. So you could be sitting right next to a bright sunny window thinking you're getting all that good sunlight, but you're still being robbed of those crucial recharging wavelengths. The end result? We're living in a state of constant, low-level biological stress.
And while we're still figuring out all the long-term effects on humans, the animal studies are, well, they're alarming. When you raise mice under this kind of unbalanced light, you see a whole cascade of problems. They get fatter, their major organs actually get smaller, they have issues with fertility, and they show all the signs of chronic inflammation.
So when you put all of this science together, it really forces you to step back and ask a pretty fundamental question. We've designed our world to be comfortable, convenient, and incredibly efficient, but have we accidentally forgotten to design it for our own biology? It's a question that might just change the way you see the light all around you.